The Invader 1. What's up guys, Invader 1 here again, this time with another noob guide. After a few of the platinum solos that I've been doing, the ones on Glacier, Hazard, the Collectors, and the other solos that I did, the Humid Adept, the Soldier, the Vortex Soldier, and the Quarian. I mean, I've done quite a few solos and more coming up. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking me for kind of like a guide for intermediate players who are just getting up there and want to know how to solo silver. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a few noob guides, and this is the first one in regards to how to solo silver. Now, this video is going to be a little long because I made sure that this is going to be a quality guide, and let me explain. This is the easy mode. This is definitely easy mode. This is not a hardcore mode where you're killing everything really quickly, etc. What I'm going to show you here is the easy way how to destroy silver on a solo versus specifically the Geth. And the part of this was that you guys asked me, well, Invader, we don't just don't just show us how to do that, but some of us don't have all the blacklisted weapons like you do. We don't have all the gold weapons, etc. So the request was how to solo silver versus any faction. So I'm starting off with the Geth because it's kind of funny to do the Geth first, and they're kind of fun to troll. So I think you guys are gonna enjoy this guide. And the other request was to use uncommon or common weapons only. No gold listed weapons, no blacklisted weapons. And at the same time, I am using only level 1 consumables, level 1 equipment. Like this, you guys see this as a quality guide. Now you can say, well, I can do this. Yes, I have the gear, Invader. I have the, I have the consumables. I have the weapons you're talking about. I get this. And not only that, the weapon that I'm using, the modifications, the weapon mods are also uncommon and common. So this way you guys can actually do this guide and not just see a solo that's, oh man, I'm just running around being awesome. So this is going to be a long solo because I'm going to teach you something very cool, very simple. This is super easy mode, but if you want to do it this way, you can do it this way. This will help you beat silver. And like I said before, some people, I've been trolling in the past before about some of my solos because the solos that I do are not easy. The platinum solos are not easy, but some people, because of the fact that I teach you tactics, I actually tell you what I'm doing, it kind of takes away for some people, the mystery. So if I just did a solo and just put music in the background and I'm just like running around killing everything, everybody's like, oh man, that's awesome, Invader, that's great. But the moment that I start describing the tactics and everything, in your mind, you now learn it, it becomes simple, and then people are like, oh, that was nothing, that was, So I get that. So that's the difference between me and a lot of other different commentators, guys, and that a lot of people will look at my stuff, and the fact that I am giving you away the secrets will make it seem a little simpler. And after I give you away the secrets, then you're like, oh wait, I didn't think of that. Why did I do that? And that's usually why I get a lot of the comments that I get, because I'm kind of giving away the tactics and the secrets. For a lot of the advanced player, this is nothing new to them, but a lot of you guys who are constantly asking me for like silver stuff, gold stuff, I already have a gold guide. I'm going to create another one, guys, too, as well, because I have more updated information. I know the game a lot better now. So let's get on with it. I'm talking a lot. So that was the request. So what I'm going to do is show you what are the common and uncommon weapons. So this is my N7HQ. Let me just minimize this a little bit. Okay, and this is my N7HQ. As you can see, these are the common weapons: the Avenger, Predator, Katana, Shuriken. These weapons you get right away. And then these are the uncommons. You get these through veteran packs. They're all in the veteran packs. You don't need to even go higher than that to get them. So the weapons that you see here are the uncommons, and these are all really excellent actually for this kind of solo. You could actually use any of these weapons for the silver solo and do great. In this situation, I'm going to use the Facetin. I think the Facetin is a really excellent gun on silver. It's a great gun on silver. I like it a lot. I remember the first time I got it, I thought it was really great. I preferred the Matic for a long time. It was very sharp, but the thing is that my finger just kept on getting exhausted with using it. So we're going to use the Facein and this silver gameplay. So these are the uncommon weapons. All right. So that's what I'm going to use here in this gameplay. Now, for the weapon mods, let's go through them. So we have common. These are the common mods. Okay, so I didn't go higher than common. And we have the uncommon mods. Let me go down to it right here. These are the uncommon mods. Alright, so out of the uncommon mods, what I'm using is the assault rifle piercing mod. So like that, you can shoot through light cover, and it helps you with armor as well. This way you can shoot, you know, if you have a some kind of Geth trooper or whatever hiding behind like a seat or something, as you will see here, you can just shoot through that light cover and hurt the enemy. And at the same time, I am also using the pistol magazine upgrade, so like that I have a lot, and that gives me a lot of, you know, a lot of bullets with this gun, which is, again, the Facein is really excellent gun for silver. Now the characters, let's look at the characters. We have the common characters are these are the following: the base character, all the human characters that you get in the game, and then these are the uncommons. So out of the uncommons, I said, well, most likely you guys all have the commons, and you know, I will definitely do another solo with the common guys. I've done quite a few actually. I did a engineer, a human engineer's gold solo a long time ago, which was very popular. But what I decided to do is use the uncommon character, the Salarian engineer. So that is who we're going to use for this solo versus the Geth. Okay, now the consumables. Out of the consumables, we have all of these here. What I did use was Incendiary Rounds 1, because these characters' powers, and I'll show it on the next screen, the setup does really great with fire explosions, and incendiary ammo is really great in eating up armor, especially for primes. So what we're using is Incendiary Rounds 1. Okay, I have 184 of those, so it definitely helped out. Okay, and then for the armor bonuses, what I use here is the Cyclonic Modulator 1. That's exactly what I use. It gives you plus 30% shields. Alright, and then for the weapon, we used Assault Rifle Rail Amp 1. That's what we got here, guys. Now, for the gear, I think the gear is the only one that I used. Let me see, that might have been a little higher. Let's check it out. Alright, so for the gear, I used the Assault Rifle and 5. No, so it is uncommon. Okay, so this guide is fully, how can I say, pure to the request and pure to the fact that you guys will be able to do this without gold weapons and without blacklisted weapons, and I think you guys will really enjoy this solo. Okay, on to the build. Alright, so let's go into the build, and this is the Salarian Engineer at level 20. This is actually the build that I use all around, by the way. This is a good build for platinum. This is a good build for gold, excellent for silver and bronze. Oh, I would say this is the best build overall for me, and I enjoy it quite a bit. So let me talk through it. Energy drain, what you're going to want to do is put radius on rank 4. This is so that you could affect multiple enemies at one point and stun multiple enemies. What energy drain does, guys, is stuns enemies, and at the same time it helps you restore a certain percent of shields. At level 1, it already restores 50%. So if you only just wanted to put rank 1 on energy drain, you're still getting 50% shield. So this is actually really excellent. Radius, again, hit multiple enemies. And let's go into rank 5, drain. Now, I like drain, by the way, because it actually helps you kind of like give a little bit more of a kick to energy drain, and the shield restoration rate for your character goes higher, meaning that your shields will restore faster, especially when you are draining shield barriers or power from synthetic enemies like Geth, specifically Geth, which this solo is all about. So when using drain, it is great because your shields restore much faster than the usual percentage that it would. Now for rank 6, I like armor boost, guys, and look, I'm gonna read it real quick. It reduces the damage taken for 40% for 10 seconds. So when you use energy drain, you have kind of like a defensive mechanism, a defensive shield upon you that allows you to take hits a little bit more, especially since this guy's a little flimsy. Alright, you get a temporary layer of armor by draining shields, barriers, or energy from synthetics. Again, Geth. This is a specific solo against Geth. And by the way, it does do a little bit of damage. As you see, 363. You also see the recharge speed is great. The radius is 3 meters, is excellent, and the shields restore is 100%. Alright, so let's go into the decoy. Now the decoy, I only put 3 points. Yeah, I really don't feel the need to put more than that. Now, you can put more than that if you're doing a different kind of build, but this, again, this is a great overall build, and you will see in this gameplay. What you want with decoy is only the first 3 points, and you want decoy because decoy is the one thing that you need for this solo. Decoy is what is going to troll the Geth. Decoy is what's going to really destroy them. Decoy is what's going to make you kill this solo. And as you can see, the decoy shields are 1,000, so they can continue killing it, and it'll take a long while before it actually dies. And then it lasts for almost 20 seconds. As you can see, for 20 seconds it is taking hits. Now if the shields die out, well, it'll go down, and then you have to restore the decoy again before the shields go down, but that's fine. Incinerate, guys, it is very important that you spec it out this way. Incinerate is great against armor. It is great against health. It is great against organic enemies and synthetics. And it burns the enemies as well, and it also puts them into a state of shock, which allows you to stun them and then take advantage and kill them with your gun. I always go for radius, guys, because I like applying this effect to multiple enemies, not just one. And then for rank 5 burning damage, like that, you have damage over time, and rank 6 you want to go for armor damage, especially for pyros and primes. Okay, Salarian operative, this is the training. You're going to want to go with damaging capacity, so your incinerate, all your powers have a little bit more of a kick, and you have a weight capacity bonus. That means that your recharge speed will go higher, especially if you want to go with a heavier weapon. And rank 5 I go for power damage again. I don't go for headshots because I'm not really doing headshots on this guy, unless you want to go ahead and use a sniper rifle like the Javelin or the Black Widow or the Widow. Then if you want to use a sniper rifle, then you'll probably want to go for headshots and just do that. And the build would change, actually. The build would change quite a bit. Fitness, I put all fitness on this guy. Let's go into the gameplay. So now the map that you are going to want to do this in is Firebase White, the new Firebase White. And you're going to be wondering, well, Vader, why this map? Why specifically this map, not Firebase Giant? Guys, Firebase Giant is great, but for the Geth, this is the best map to solo silver. And I'm going to show you why. In the beginning of the wave, you're going to want to stand exactly where I was standing. You're going to want to go here. That'll force the enemies to spawn all the way at the end of the map. Okay, you want to make sure that you wait till the wave 1 sign just goes away. And then you come over here, you put your decoy out, and you'll notice that the Geth are absolutely totally trolled by the decoy. They're going to constantly shoot at the decoy. As long as you're taking your cover, you make sure that you take soft cover or hard cover, and the Geth will constantly go for the decoy. They will look. If you notice this, they're shooting at the decoy a lot. They will shoot at you here and there when you kind of peek out a little bit, and then that's it. Then you come back to this spot, the specific spot. You put your decoy out, and that's not the best spot to put it in, but I was a little. I had to make sure I got there on time, so I put my decoy out here. What you're going to want to do is put your decoy right there. Why do you want to put it there? I'll tell you why. Because there is another stairwell right next to you. There are 2 stairwells. You're in one stairwell, and then there's the other one, which is right where the decoy is facing at. What does that do? What it does, it gives a line of sight to any Geth that will spawn by the LZ, okay, or any Geth that will come up the ladder that is on that top area. So if they come up the ladder, they will look at this decoy and go for it instead of going around behind you and killing you while you're here taking cover, all nice and cozy. So by putting the decoy right here in the center, any Geth that go up the ladder, and you guys know where I'm talking about, up the ladder, right up the stairwell, or any Geth that gets spawned by the LZ, instead of coming behind you, you see, as you notice here, look, there are bullets right there coming from the LZ, coming from the ladder, and here they go. So you could rinse and repeat this entire process, and that is exactly what I do this entire game. And now the decoy, what it does, it trolls every single Geth, every single one. And that includes the primes, and you will see wave to wave. Now this is why I call this super easy mode. So let's rinse and repeat and see if it happens again. And then not only are we going to rinse and repeat, I'm going to give you a few more tips. Okay, so we're doing this again. We're starting off here. We do not have the primes yet. We don't have the bigger bosses yet. Those come later on, like waves 8 and 9. So as you can see, they're still going at the decoys. Now, the combat drones, those are the ones that, I'm sorry, not the combat drones, the Geth bombers, those are the ones that are new into the game, and they are a bit of trouble. This is why the decoy is so good. Look at this. The decoy is trolling the combat, I'm sorry, the Geth bomber. It actually forces the Geth bomber to carpet bomb the decoy. And that is good for you because the grenades that that it's dropping, well, they're not near you. And as you can see again, it's happening again. All the Geth that are spawning by the LZ or that are going up the ladder, you can see the bullets. You can't see the Geth yet because they haven't shown up yet. They're still coming down. Well, they will be there. Now, once in a while, you get a situation like this. You have to pay attention to that. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use energy drain to stun the enemy and then shoot them and then go right ahead, use your incinerate to detonate. Okay, now, both your incinerate and your both your energy drain are detonating powers. They can detonate ammo powers. And that's why in this situation I recommended to use incendiary rounds 1 because you could do fire explosions and at the same time it continues doing damage over time on the Geth. Especially it's really good against armor opponents like this, like the Geth bombers. And look at this, the Geth bomber normally would be right on top of you, but because the decoy was constantly out, he carpet bombed the decoy, killed it thinking he was happy. But guess what? He's not a happy camper because he just got owned by the Salarian engineer, which is an excellent character. Now, I don't see a lot of people using the Salarian engineer lately, and that's mostly because the decoy had gotten nerfed. The decoy and the combat drone, they got nerfed. And what that means is that in the past, you used to be able to use the decoy and the combat drone to hypnotize banshees. You could hypnotize brutes. I mean, you could literally have them there and forget it. They'll be hypnotized by the drone ball or hypnotized by the decoy. And that was, it was crazy. I actually did. If you guys look at my Human Engineer Gold Solo in Vancouver, it was a lot of fun, and a lot of people really liked that because they didn't realize that, you could do that with a combat drone. Now, the combat drone still trolls phantoms, and so does the decoy, and it still trolls banshees once in a while. They really mostly ignore it, but the Geth are totally susceptible. All of the characters, all the enemies for the Geth faction are still weak to the decoy. Now, when it comes to objectives, this is why the decoy is great. Look at that. What I do is I take the, let's say if it's an object recovery, or you will see later on in the objectives for well, we got object recovery this time, and then we also had oh, I'm forgetting right now. We did not get a hack. Well, we got, okay, we got object recovery, and then later on we got an escort. Correct, we got an escort. Now, what's great about using this guy is that you could leave the decoy and force the Geth to be somewhere opposite of you. So in this situation, I am doing that. I'm picking up the package, I'm just getting it, doing my thing, putting the decoy out. I want them to stay to troll over there. I don't want them to be by me. And if they are in front of me, then I'm going to use energy drain to stun the enemy. And look at that, shoot them with my incendiary rounds, and then use incinerate to do a fire explosion and destroy them. So that is what you want to do. Now, when you're in situations like this, that you know that the enemy has some kind of line of sight on you, you still want to use cover. You want to use hard cover. And look at this, use your decoy again so that they're forced to shoot at that enemy. And then you go right ahead and do your thing. Now, the other thing is that I've said before in my other solos, you never want to fight here. You really don't want to fight at DLZ. But if you're forced to in this situation, then use your decoy to kind of like force the enemies to focus on them and kind of lose focus on and take away focus from you. You're going to want to leave the LZ guys because it's like a kill box. They all have a great angle on you, and what you want to do is you want to go down this ladder. Once you go down this ladder, the enemies will line up little by little, as you can see here. Now, you don't want to stay here for long. In any solo, you never want to stay in one place for long. You never camp. What you want to do is go for, if you force the spawns like you do in the beginning of the wave, like I've been doing, and I have been camping in a way, well, you still want to go ahead and do some movement, move a little bit, especially on the objectives. So on the objectives, this is really where you're gonna be moving mostly when it comes to this kind of tactic and strategy. When it comes to the later waves, like waves 8 and 9, you're gonna get so overrun that you are gonna move from corner to corner. You're not gonna be able to camp the way you're seeing here. Now, For waves 8 and 9, I definitely recommend to check it out. That's where the double primes and all that comes out, and it is still actually amazing because you can still troll them and do quite well there. And they do push you back a little bit, but not enough that you're having to run around the entire map. You're still able to do the same tactics. So here we go. Wave 4 has started. We forced them all the way at the end, putting our troll decoy, rinsing and repeating, doing fire explosions, destroying the enemy, and we're in business. Now, once you do that a little bit, you kill a few enemies, like 2, then come back here, and then go right ahead and put your decoy out. And you want it closer to that center area here. I don't have it there, but it's okay, it still works. You really want it in the center, right where the that pyro is at, so you could go right ahead and it'll troll all the enemies that are coming up there. And there, here we go, we do it again. So now with the pyros, they're armor targets. So what you're going to want to do is use your you are going to want to use your decoy, obviously, and set them up right here. And then after that, you're going to want to use energy drain on top first, because they do have shields and it'll help drain it a little bit. And then you're going to want to shoot and then rinse and repeat the incinerate to do a fire explosion on the armor. So guys, as you can see here with the mod on this great gun, which is the Phaeston, this is an excellent gun for silver. I think all you silver players know that by now. It's a really great gun, and has a lot of ammo, and you can do a lot with it. This is the way to go. And the mod that gives you a little bit of armor piercing does really great here to help you destroy the armor targets as well, and at the same time all the powers that this engineer has is really great. So this is pretty much the tactic and the strategy that you have all around. As you can see, we're rinsing and repeating. Somebody comes up behind me, I'm using energy drain to stun them, and I'm still constantly using the decoy to take away attention from myself. And always looking at your back. You got to make sure you take out time to look behind you. And as you can see here, this is the last enemy. Lo and behold, it is done. Alright, so there are very few more things that I can tell you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right ahead and give you a few more of the pointers. And please make sure that you definitely check out waves. Actually, you should definitely check out waves 6, 7, 8, and 9. Because wave 6 is the objective. You have an escort. And at the same time, waves 8 and 9, you start getting the double primes and all that. In this situation, as you can see here, we have 1 prime. So I'm going back, started off in the beginning over there. Now I'm going over here, setting up my decoy, making sure that all the other enemies have line of sight. I'm going to set it up in a moment. Here we go, setting up the decoy. So the enemies that are coming up from the LZ and the ramp, the stairway, have a line of sight on my nice little decoy, and they get trolled by it entirely, and then we go from there. Now, there are times that you will need ammo. This is the other tip. Guess what? You could actually leave the decoy here. Let's say it's still alive, the decoy hasn't been destroyed yet, but you need to get ammo. I will recast it, go back upstairs, or go up behind you upstairs, go to the ammo box, come back around the same direction, and you notice that even if there's 2 primes or whatever is here, they'll still be there shooting at the decoy, which is excellent because, hey, this decoy has to work on somebody, since it doesn't really work with all the other enemy factions. So it's great that it works against the Geth, and it's really fun that they, that BioWare kept this way, because the decoy needs to have some use. So as you can see here, the decoy is constantly working. So that's another tip when it comes to ammo. Once you run out, make sure you recast the decoy so that it has more shield strength, survives more. You go behind you, up the stairwell, go to the ammo box on the top, come back, and then continue destroying the enemy. Alright guys, that's about it. The other thing is that make sure that you constantly use your energy drain to stun, and make sure that you constantly use incinerate to detonate anything. And you can still detonate with energy drain if for whatever reason you are out of shield and you want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You could go ahead and use energy drain to restore your shields, and at the same time detonate the fire explosion on the enemy. Alright guys, so that is it. That is the rest of this tutorial. This is the super duper easy mode. I mean, there's nothing easier. I don't think there's any other easier thing that you can do. This is the map. This is the character to do it with uncommon to common weapons and low gear. And as you can see, guys, it still works. You should definitely be able to do this solo, absolutely. And if any of you guys have problems with this, just let me know what issues you may have seen. But so far, from what I've tested and what I've done, this is definitely the guide for you guys. All right, and it's a longer solo because what you're doing is there are no missiles here. I'm not using any missiles at all. As a matter of fact, this is a 10-wave survive. I didn't die at all. I didn't use any missiles. If you want to do a faster solo, a more advanced silver, then you're going to want to use missiles at the beginning of the wave. Once you force the spawns all the way down, like for example wave 7, 8, and 9, you're going to rush that bottom part, and instead of putting the decoy, you're going to put the decoy and you're going to shoot a nuke. And that'll make those waves go a lot faster. Here, this is a long solo because we're not using any missiles. I'm making it easier on you guys because, you know, some of you guys may not have the capability to hold 3 missiles. Some of you guys may only have 2 missiles, able to hold 2 missiles. So I didn't want to create a guide that was dependent on nukes, and you guys wouldn't be able to really do those other waves. I wanted to make sure I made it as pure as possible, so that if even if you are a silver player, you want to do your silver solo, have fun with it, and at the same time you don't have a lot of gear, but you know you play the game quite a few hours, then you can still do this. And as you can see here, guys, we have the escort. And what you want to do is when the enemies are there are too many enemies there, you want to leave, put the decoy out where you want them to go, and then you're going to want to go around, go back to the to the escort, and finish it off little by little. As you can see, the decoy is quite helpful when it comes to defeating the Geth. Here we go, and do a nice little stun move. And by the way, if you notice, the Geth rocket troopers are a little glitched. They cast 2. Sometimes they cast 2 rockets at you when they're not supposed to. Anyways, guys, this is Invader 1. I hope that you guys enjoy this this silver solo. This is the super duper easy mode for soloing silver Geth. I hope that you guys find this a lot of fun, and it is a lot of fun, even though it's a long solo. It took about half an hour to do it this way without nukes, without getting aggressive. So this is a non-aggressive guide. This is a super easy mode to defeat Geth in silver. Again, hope you guys enjoyed. Invader 1 out. And if you have any other requests, please let me know. More solo guides to come, more team guides to come, more weapons guides to come, and more single player gameplays to come, guys. As you know, I like to be as well rounded as I can for you guys. And again, hope you enjoy. Invader 1 out.
on the roof.